Oh, welcome again, everyone, each and every one of you. It's wonderful to see you, and we're really glad that you've joined us. You are here at Insight Meditation Community of Charlotte on February 24th, Wednesday evening, 2021. Isn't it good to be precise about what time it is in the world? Anyway, we welcome you. I'm Debbie George, one of your Dharma leaders, and I'm happy to be here. Do we want to just pause for a moment and just kind of say hello to everybody? Just wave, see that we're here, and yeah, good, cool. All right, so tonight we're going to continue our spring series on knowing the three characteristics of existence. These include impermanence, in Pali called anicca, dukkha, we typically translate as suffering, but we'll talk about that, and anatta, which is translated as not self. Dharma teacher Ruth King refers to these as life being not permanent, not perfect, and not personal. And I like that kind of spin, not permanent, not perfect, and not personal. So this teaching really helps us to navigate just the way it is in life, the way life is, without the insights of this teaching. We're sort of left to kind of try to figure out how to navigate all the pressures of this life. So I want to thank Ward for 2 weeks ago, a wonderful overview of this teaching, especially when he pointed out, that for all sentient beings, we all want to be happy and we all want to avoid suffering, every one of us. Also, he spoke about gravity, that these characteristics are like the law of gravity. So it's just the way it is. So if you threw a glass in the air, you wouldn't expect space to catch it. It's going to fall and maybe break. So also want to thank Alexis for her wonderful talk last week on impermanence. And she pointed out, everything's constantly changing. So bringing presence to each moment and really letting go of the past and future so much. The only constant, is change is the only constant. And in the very moment, we can know life. We can know the joys and the sorrows. Next week, we'll hear from Clyde on not personal or not self. Good luck, Clyde. That's the more difficult one. So tonight we're going to really focus in on suffering, on dukkha, and hopefully we're going to get more intimate and more kind of aware of how this shows up in our lives. We're all damaged in some way by life. Life is difficult, and we all have kind of our own tendencies of dukkha, but we also share a lot of what we would call dukkha. So the question is, do you suffer? When I first heard this teaching, I was like, I don't think I do. I don't really relate to that, I just didn't think I suffered. I had a wonderful life. I had, so much to be grateful for. And then I started practicing mindfulness and seeing all the ways that the mind serves up suffering and the kind of the wider range of suffering or dukkha in existence. And let me say that if that word doesn't resonate for you, you can use stress. You can use another one is pervasive dissatisfaction. It's just unsatisfactoriness. So don't let that word throw you. But other words for dukkha, and some are describe the smaller experience and some the larger. So unease, fear, longing, frustration, loss, disappointment, worry, anxiety, insecurity. If we had a whiteboard, we could all popcorn words. We would be putting them up there. So tonight we're going to get more clear about the ways that we experience directly suffering and how we can more skillfully respond to get more free. We all usually, without kind of using some skill, we either want it or we want to get rid of it. Situations, kind of people, emotions, thoughts, anxieties, pleasures. So the thing, this is a common saying that I think is pretty helpful. It's that pain is inevitable in life, but suffering is optional. Now, when I really sit with that, pain is inevitable because we are going to age, we're going to become ill, we're going to die, loved ones, we're going to be separated from what we cherish. We're going to be unskillful and receive the karmic results of that. So we are gonna experience all kinds of pain in life. Suffering is optional. I don't think this is entirely true. It isn't really until we're fully enlightened, and until we're going to continue to suffer. It's the first noble truth that the Buddha taught. He really always said, I'm teaching suffering and its end. So inherent in life is dukkha, suffering. The cause is craving, so we can work with that one, craving. We can end a lot of our suffering by learning how to let go. And there is a training program in the Eightfold Path. So what we do with this craving, we add on to the pain of life. We add our stories, our desires to fix, to make things different. This mental reaction is how we increase our suffering, how we really experience our dukkha. But going forward, you might hear me use the word pain, and you might hear me use suffering. So just kind of a disclaimer, I'm not enlightened. So I do experience my share of suffering. For example, I just had double hip replacements, total hip replacements. There was dukkha involved. From the little, the experience, I'd never had a surgery ever in my life. So that was a huge unknown for me. There was pain involved, of course. And then the suffering, like, did I pick the right surgeon? Adding on, when am I going to be able to, blah, 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 So knowing dukkha, like the law of gravity, helps us not make it such a personal failing when we notice that we're suffering. It's how it is. It's how it is. And the great experiences of suffering, just COVID, right? A lot of loss in this pandemic, tremendous loss. The dukkha of racism, the dukkha of climate change. How about on a smaller scale, the dukkha of technology? We love it when it works well, And when we have the Zoom freeze, or, when it's not working well, dukkha. So, spoiler alert. My son likes to say that. Is there a spoiler alert? We're going to learn how to make peace with dukkha. And doesn't mean we're going to become indifferent, just that we're going to change things. We're not going to change things in the world by having a tussle with our suffering. So how we do this, we're going to be getting out of the small mind and into a spacious mind, which is what mindfulness teaches us, right? So our truest teacher is the present moment. That's where we're going to directly experience the dukkha in our life. We'll see clearly our suffering and how we're relating to it. That's where we can make a choice. That's where we can work with it. How are we relating to it? And I will say that we will not see the dukkha in our lives unless we're practicing mindfulness, unless we're practicing waking up this capacity to be aware. And that's why we practice every day. That's why we practice regularly, so that when difficulty arises in our life, we can tune it, we can turn on that skill. We know how to settle. We know how to relax and be with whatever's arising. We know how to be more spacious by just coming home and experiencing the moment in the body, in with intimacy and curiosity. And this brings spaciousness. It brings awareness, more awareness. So if we don't practice, we'll get caught up in it, right? We'll start believing the kind of the small mind, the thoughts. So it's very important that we practice. It all starts with awareness, seeing it. Acceptance is the next step. So taking away the craving by, okay, it's like this now. It's like this. In that moment that we're allowing the moment to be as it is, we've taken away that craving, that cause of the mind's reactivity. And there is more ease. We're all going to do this, guys. We're all going to do this in a moment. So also, in terms of waking awareness, never underestimate a walk around the block or walk in the park. To be present, to look around, to be out of our head and in the world as we experience it. So and let's remember also that letting go results in the mitigation of suffering. As we can let go of what has gripped us, what has caught us, what we're caught up in, we in that moment start to see an ease. Okay. I love that my teacher, Terania Gloria Ambrosia, she loves to say, and I've come to see this and agree so much, that the more we know our suffering, the more we see our patterns, the more we know our suffering, the more happy we'll be, the happier we'll be. So that's really good news, right? Ajahn Chah says, there are two kinds of suffering: the suffering that leads to more suffering, and the suffering that leads to the end of suffering. Okay. So the Buddha taught 3 ways that we suffer. And I'll be paraphrasing Philip Moffat from his wonderful book, Dancing with Life. So the three ways are physical and emotional, the dukkha of constant change, and the dukkha of the unsubstantial conditioned nature of life. So we'll unpack all three. So physical and emotional, from a stubbed toe to lack of sleep. Think about what that does to the mind. Hunger, what that does to the mind. Again, I'm going to share some of Philip's words. It says, talking about emotional pain also. Oh, let me stay with physical. So the agonies of chronic disease, the pains in our body, just having a body, we're gonna have aches and pains. And then emotional, Philip writes, when you become frustrated that things don't go your way, or upset about life's injustices, or worried about money, or meeting others' expectations. Each day you have many experiences that cause you to be disappointed, anxious, and tense, from getting stuck in traffic to forgetting to do something, to snapping at a loved one during an argument. He says, isn't it true in matters of love, family, work, and self-acceptance? Do you not experience these sorts of negative emotions over and over again? And then the dukkha of life is constantly changing. Happy moments come and we can't hang on to them. They go. We distract ourselves, but the weight of responsibility is still there. Constant flux brings confusion, stress, and mental fatigue. It's that kind of disruptive feelings of constant change. Life is constantly changing. It's an impersonal, universal truth. Not even the wealthiest, wisest, and the most powerful gets to be an exception. And then the final type of dukkha, I think of this as the existential type of dukkha, that kind of the words pervasive unsatisfactoriness describe this one best, I think. But he says, every day, even during the pleasant moments, do you not experience an underlying unease about the future? This worry and anxiety is a manifestation of this third type of suffering. Each moment arises due to certain conditions, then it just disappears. There's not a lasting or substantial there in daily life. Thus, it's often described as being like a dream. This dukkha is of the existential type. Why are we here? What's it about? Where are we going? So, what the Buddha is pointing to is that suffering is an experience of the mind. He's not offering you relief from pain. He's offering you relief from the extra mental reactivity that causes your misery. Life is hard. So let me share a little bit. For me, there's a lot of comfort in learning and knowing about dukkha and seeing it in my own experience. Larry Rosenberg taught me on a retreat years ago. He taught me to pause often during the day and just ask myself, are you suffering now? Another way of saying this is like, are you experiencing, is contentment present now? Are you content in this moment? Or is there some unsatisfactoriness in this moment? And we want to know, we want to ask ourselves during the day. And then we can pause and we can say, let me pause, let me relax for a moment, maybe close my eyes for a moment, take a breath, feel into the moment. What is true here? And feel into the body. Where am I feeling this sense of insecurity, if it's that, or if it's frustration or anger? How is it showing up in my body? Can I welcome it? Can I befriend it? It's dukkha. What does it feel like? And as we open to it, as we invite it, we've in that moment stopped craving for it to be different. In that moment, the door of ease is beginning to crack open, and there's a spacious, more open experience. And then as we stay with it, we see that it's shifting constantly. It's shifting, and we might notice, wow, I'm okay. It's okay. Lee Brasington, wonderful Dharma teacher, he defines dukkha with one word, and many of us might like this one as the best of all: bummer. Dukkha is bummer. So you drop something, it smashes, dukkha, bummer. Something, I mean, not to make light of it. I mean, some challenges in life are great and very difficult and very scary. And but I think this one is helpful for kind of like the everyday garden variety experience. So take a moment now. Are you experiencing less than contentment right now? Maybe close your eyes. You might like the words, am I suffering now? Or am I experiencing some unsatisfactoriness in this moment? Can I notice my breath while I'm with this experience? Can I turn toward it even more, allowing it, accepting it? In my body, how's my body experiencing it? Again, noticing the breath. Can I relax around, okay, it's this, it's like this. With more awareness, do I see more spaciousness, more ease? So you can ease your eyes back open. Hope that was helpful. Consider practicing that. So I think befriending it is important, and being curious, and also bringing kindness, metta, crucial, because life's difficult. Some days we're gonna meet our suffering or stress with skill, with more ease. Some days we're just not gonna. We're kind of gonna what is it? Some days the bear is gonna eat you, and some days you're gonna eat the bear, or something like that. Anyway, so relaxing is key, and awareness is key. I'm going to now ask you to do another exercise that's a little more pointed. I'd like you to bring up a thought, or close your eyes, if you will, and remember something recently, perhaps, that's upset you. Could be something small or large. Could be a person or a situation. And kind of feel into the stress of it. Maybe take a nice deep breath. And notice what it's like, this experience. Maybe go to the place or be in front of the person. Feel it. And as you do this, now bring your awareness to your feet, to your hands, your torso that is breathing. Stay with it. Again, notice how the feelings, maybe the sensations are changing. And how it feels now. Not trying to push it away, not trying to get rid of it. Trying to make space for how it is. Trying to open to this insight, this experience. Not adding on any stories, not adding anything to it. Just being with it directly. Okay, everybody, easing your eyes open. I'd like to close with a blessing from Swami Vivekananda. I bring this up probably a couple times a year. I just love, back in, I think it was the 60s or 70s, there was a well-known poster of a Swami on a surfboard. And the caption was, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." And I would like to expound on that a little and say that we can learn day by day to get better and better at surfing, but still we'll slip, and still there'll be a wave that's just too much for us, and we'll just get back up on the board and we'll keep practicing, and we'll get better at it. So may you surf with ease, and thank you so much for your attention. May you be free as much as you're able, free of suffering. Thank you. So this is when I really miss us not being together, because I really love to hear your voices when there are questions. But let me just go to the chat, and thank you for your thank you. And if we need to have some more time, we can get that by taking some time with the announcements. So why don't I go ahead and do that? Sounds like, okay. So let me just do the announcements, and then we'll go back to the Q&A. So the winter book discussion group that Joy is leading, The Wisdom of Monastic Women. If you're interested, you can contact Joy. It's on the website. They're individual teachings, so you can come to one or all, and it's already going, but you can still join. So we're continuing our series. That's next week is our last week with the 3 factors of existence. There is a meditation pop-up group that's been going on, and there's 2 more coming up this Saturday on the 27th, and it's at Boyce Park. You go to the parking lot and there'll be signs, and Denise is going to let me know before the end of the evening what time that's at. I'm not sure if it's on the website. But Boyce Park, both this Saturday, she thought maybe it was at 1 o'clock, but I'll confirm that. Oh, 2 o'clock. There we go. 2 o'clock this Saturday. Boyce Park. Go to the parking lot. And then in 1 month, March 27th, the same thing. You'll hear more about it. I am leading the basic series of Insight Meditation. It will begin on Tuesday. There's still time to sign up for that. It's 4 weeks in a row. You can kind of strengthen the practice you have, or if you know someone who is interested in learning meditation and wants to know the basics of the teachings of Insight Meditation, please send them along. It'll be 4 consecutive weeks, starting March 2nd, Tuesday evening. The Spring Beyond the Basic series, led by Ward. Remember, there are twice a year. There's Beyond the Basics. There's always different topics, and twice a year is the basics. So the Spring Beyond the Basics, Ward is doing April 6th and the 20th, and the 4th and the 18th. That's on the website, so check it out. Always good to go deeper into the teachings for deepening your understanding. Beginning in March, we will, in fact, tonight was the last of the weekly 7 o'clock intro to meditation instructions. The next one will be in 1 month, March, the last Wednesday in March, for the 7 o'clock meditation instructions. So, however, on our website now is meditation instruction session. It's recorded, and go check it out. It's on there, or send people that you know that want to learn the basics. So the first Wednesday of each month is the practice discussion group for meditators with a practice, and that is next week. Starts at 6:45. If you haven't done it, really consider. It's really interesting to hear from other meditators and to talk with the Dharma teacher about your practice. So that'll be next week at 6:45. Check the website for ongoing book clubs, upcoming events, and other detailed information. Any non-IMCC related announcements, you could raise your hand. I'll see if that happens. I don't believe there is. And thanks to the volunteers that make this evening possible, the techies and the folks that on the board that handle so much that we can be here together. And then there's always the Dana announcement that online donations are still appreciated and needed. And if you are in a position, please consider going to the website, imccharlotte.org, and making a Dana donation. Okay, so now we've got some things on here. Thank you for your appreciation, folks. I'm very glad if it was helpful. That really makes my dukkha much less. Let's see, somebody thanks for, here's a saying that somebody's offering. Some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield. Yep, there's that one too. I think there are a lot of dukkha sayings that we wouldn't recognize as dukkha, but they are. I'm glad that it was helpful for some of you folks. Thanks for the practice of pausing. Very nice. I'm glad that was helpful. And yes, for different times during the day. Please give it a try and love to hear how it works for folks. Um, Somebody shared that one of the ways they suffer is around decision making. When I feel confused and have a deadline to make a decision that has consequences. How would you work with this kind of suffering? I would work with it in the very same way. I would sit with that uh, stress and be with it and turn toward it and notice what arises. It may be the gravity of your desire to make the right decision and do the right thing, and that's admirable. You may find that it's not time to make the decision. That maybe the pressure is that maybe the decision to not decide is the right one right now. Um, it's really be with it, try not to push it away, accept it, investigate it in your body, in your heart, and befriend it, and try to not add to the suffering by demanding it be answered or demanding that it be different. Hope that was helpful. And somebody said they're all too familiar with my suffering over the last month, and that I was an inspiration. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hip surgery is a wonderful surgery. So if you ever need it, give me a ring. I'll make you feel good about it. Okay, everybody. So are we ready for a few minutes of metta? Sounds like everybody's. And I like to say after metta, maybe I'll let people unmute themselves if you want to have a moment to say hello with your real voice. Okay. So let's settle in and come home to this tender being. Notice the heart beating. Notice the breath. Notice your well-wishing for yourself. Truly, you wish yourself well. You're here to learn more about living more skillfully, with more ease. Take in that desire for your own happiness. And then sincerely wish for yourself, may I be safe from inner and outer harm. May I be content and peaceful in this moment, in this breath moment. Truly happy and deeply peaceful. May I be healthy and strong in body and mind. May I learn to live with ease May I live with ease. Bring to mind a being or beings, an individual or group who you want to welcome into your heart of loving kindness. And feel the kindness, feel the love that you have for this being or group. Let the love from your heart shine into theirs or into this person. May you be safe from inner and outer harm. May you know contentment and peace. As much as possible, may you be truly happy and deeply peaceful. May you be healthy and strong, in body and mind. May you learn to live with ease, more ease. May you live with ease. Opening our hearts to all beings everywhere, all over this suffering world. We open our heart of loving kindness to include all. May all be safe from inner and outer harm. May all be happy and peaceful. May all everywhere be healthy and strong. And may all beings live with ease. May all beings be free from suffering.